welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be decorating an 8-inch cake in full. No stops, no gaps, just the full length it actually takes me to decorate. This cake is a design I've done before. The customer's seen it on my Instagram, really likes it, so I'll be using that as a base. Sometimes I change stuff slightly, but I use the same products, the same kind of colour scheme, just maybe make it slightly different. So I am doing a white and dusky pink colour. I'm using the Colour Mill Dusk shade. It's really stunning, like muted tone. It's also got lots of dried flowers. These are from Sainsburys and this is Habitat from Sainsburys. Just so handy because I can just knit Sainsburys and they're there if I ever run out. This is the topper. It's for twin girls, so that's kind of fun. It's their 18th, so this little gold topper. So I got full of fluff then from those dried flowers, and I've also got silk flowers. These big, fun, I mean literally the size like my palm, flowers that I bought from the range. I've got quite a few here. I'll see how I get on. I've also got some chocolate dipped balls. Like polystyrene balls dipped in chocolate. They're pre-done just because they needed to be done, set the chocolate before I can use them. Also pre-made my buttercream over here. I've got white buttercream and I've got that buttercream in that dusk colour. I'm just going to switch these mixers back on before I film, just because it is really noisy. So see you in a second. And I'm back. So they're nice, mixed and soft. I'm going to use my trusty palette knife. I always start with, if I'm doing a watercolour, which is like two colours mixed together, always start with the white first, or the lighter shade, just because if you start with the darker one, you'll end up just pretty much with a dark cake. It doesn't blend as well, the dark just kind of takes over. So I always start with the white. Also, obviously, it is slightly cheaper to make white than making a whole batch of a coloured buttercream, because the colour you're putting into it, especially Colour Mill, it's not cheap. So I'm going to start by covering this whole cake. It is a big one, 8-inch, in buttercream. Remember, the aim to get a nice smooth finish edge is make sure it's thick. I know people don't always like loads of icing. You know what, when it's the decoration of the cake, I don't think that counts, not in my head, because when you cut it up, half the pieces don't even have the bloody sides on it. So this is nice and thick. And then before I add any of the colour, I always, with my Finch bakery scraper, scrape all the excess off until it's pretty much smooth. This way you get that really nice kind of watercolory look. If you mix the colours together and scrape, you'll get more of a blend, whereas this will give you, I'll show you in a minute, like that. It looks almost painted look. So there you can see there's no like big gaps, there's no bulges. Let's fix the top. Again, get the majority of that. This part doesn't need to be perfect because once you add the colour, that's when you want to get your perfect edge. White. And now this dusky pink. And what I do, I just pop it on, as you can see there, just in certain parts. We're not covering the whole thing. Sometimes you see a gap that maybe needs a bit more, you know, it doesn't look as thick, maybe put one there, or if you've got a little air bubble, pop it on there, like that. Honestly, not that much. Get your scraper again, and drag it around, see there? And as you can see, because the white base was already quite flat, you get that lovely, like it looks literally like paint. At this point, if you see any gaps that you think, oh, you know, that looks like it could do with a bit more colour there, a bit more colour there, just add it on. I'm going to add some to the top as well. Like that. Not that you can see the top on the video, but stunning. What I'm going to do is one more way round to get all this like kind of excess off, and then I'm going to run my scraper under hot water, and that will get this part nice and warm. You can put it either under a kettle or just a hot tap, and then that is where you get your beautiful, stunning. I mean, I know that looks pretty good, but from my eye I can see like little holes, pockets. Clean off the excess, running it under. My tap's already pretty hot, to be honest. Shake off any excess water. Again, you don't want it dripping, otherwise you'll get water all over your cake. And like that. Perfect. In one go. Doesn't always happen, let me tell you now. That is the speed that I always scrape a cake at, especially at the end. I just find if you go too fast, you'll drag it and drag the buttercream. If you go too slow, you'll get lines. You also need to make sure you've got a really smooth turntable. I really love these metal ones from Amazon. They're on my Amazon recommendation list. I used to have a plastic one, but it's a bit and you won't get a smooth edge if you're pulling it on one of them. So I'm just going to neaten the top up slightly. Just clean my palette knife. And then I'm going to clean the board up. And then we'll get to adding all the toppers. Like that. To clean the board, I just use some kitchen roll, damp it slightly, and you'll honestly clean up the edge. Just takes off all that buttercream. You don't want to be using any like wipes, like an antibacterial wipe, anything like that, or anything with spray or detergent or soap, just because, you know, it's next to a cake. You don't want it to be, even though it says antibacterial, you still don't want it sprayed onto your food. So let's clean up those edges. Because I am using dried flowers, like using normal flowers, you want to make sure the ends are food safe. You can do this by using floral picks, floral tape, where you wrap up the ends and then pop it in, or do what I do and I use an edible wax seal, which you melt in the microwave. Will take a few minutes actually. You melt it in the microwave. This is it. I've got another one as well. This is that old label. Ingenious Edibles Safety Food Barrier. That's a lot of words. But basically, it's a wax, like candle wax or whatever, wax. Pop it in the microwave, you melt it down, it goes to a liquid, and you dip the ends in. And that makes it food safe. I'm going to pop that on. In the meantime, I'm going to pipe the top. I forgot what I was doing there. I'm going to use because it's a pretty cake, I'm going to use a 2D nozzle, which I always think super pretty. Let's not forget the cup of tea. One thing that can look good to do is, instead of just using the one colour, put with the pink a bit of the white, and as it pipes it will come out multi. But what I'm going to do, when I find my scissors, is start with the pink, and then losing everything to get today. You'd think I'd be more organised. as the pink gets to the bottom, I will then add the white, and then as the pink pushes through and the white, you'll get a lovely little blend. I'm not doing this all the way around the top like a rose border because I want it quite on show, so we're just going to do around the edge at the back. There. I'm trying to think where I kind of want it open. There to there. Oh. And some down around the bottom. Like that. Told you it takes ages, that's not melted yet. Whilst that's waiting, I like to put my palms on first and then the dried flowers, then smaller flowers, just because you can work out kind of spatial awareness of what sits right where. But what I will do is start to add a couple of balls. I think we're putting butterflies on this cake as well, actually. So these are polystyrene balls, again from Amazon. They do come in all different shapes and sizes. All different sizes, like massive ones, small ones, but I'll start one out. Polystyrene ball, toothpick, dip it in melted chocolate. I've used the same colour from Colour Mill, and then I put them on just like an egg carton to dry. You do need to temper your chocolate when doing this, otherwise it will bloom, which is where you get all those white mockly spots and it doesn't look as pleasant. I might stick down there one of these flowers. Like so. Just thinking, should I have done some white balls? I don't know, I think I love that, the monochrome-ness of this, if that's a word. So I might dig some. Oh, the concentration. You can tell I'm concentrating. I stopped speaking. Like that. We had like another little one there. Cheeky little ball. Like so. Bit of that. Oh, right, you can see now. I can't tip it all the way because it obviously is liquid. Completely melted. So here's one palm spear. Just because, as you can see, natural products naturally have like bitty ends. You can never get on, I don't know, unless you use like a saw. It's never gonna be completely flat. Also the same with these. Do remember though, so dried flowers you tend to be fine, roses you're fine, stuff like that, but there is a lot of poisonous flowers out there that you can't be putting on cakes, even if dipped, because if consumed or they touch food products, they are actually poisonous. So stuff like gypsophilia, which is baby's breath, you know, the really cute white stuff that you always see on wedding cakes. You can put it on if you buy fake, but if you're using real gypsophilia, I know it's cheap and I know that's why people love it, because it's cheap and whimsical, but it is poisonous. It can make people poorly if they accidentally consume it. So I avoid it. I have never ever put it on a cake. Just avoid. You can just, if you go on Google, a lot of plant websites will tell you what's like a toxic plant. Also, people know just from like, if they've got children, like certain vases of flowers you wouldn't have nearer the floor, because if your kid chewed on it, so it's going to make them quite poorly, or your dogs or cats or whatever. This stuff is awesome. It dries so well. If it's cold, it dries really fast, and then it's literally left a little, like a cap of wax, like when you dip your finger in wax when you were a kid. Unless you didn't, and I was just the one that did that. I always find it dead fun. Obviously trying to be delicate with this, with it being real dried flowers, don't want it to break. I do make a lot of palm spears myself, out of card, like a smaller one, but these ones, honestly, for the price you can get them at Habitat, the size of them, like on 8-inch cakes, just look amazing. So whenever they're there, always buying them. Can't get enough. Let's pop that one. And then to break up the colour, I'm going to add some of these like nude tones as well. These bunches are, I guess, a little bit, they look quite pricey when you see them in Sainsbury's, or I don't know, other shops might sell them. These bunches come in this pinky tone or this like nude tone, are like £5 for a bunch, and they look small, like the bunch, but it's not. They have like about 10 of these stems inside, so it works out quite cost effective. If you're doing a lot of cakes, I put them on a lot of cakes, but I only put maybe 2 branches. This 8-inch one, they paid extra, so I'll put that on there. And then I'm going to fill, like I said before, always easier to put the big stuff on first. I've got a bloody bit of glue on that. It's the only thing with fake flowers is they use glue to stick them together kind of thing, so you do get the odd bit of stringy like glue gun glue type. You see that so far? Just want to make sure it's not too top heavy. I'm going to add some butterflies. I've got different bloody butterflies there. I've got that kind of ones, not those ones. See what? Let's put the name on first actually, and then decide which ones look great. Again, those bits on the dried flowers, that is the only thing, is with dried flowers, they can like shed or molt a bit. So, and obviously there's a bit of static on these cakes. So I'm going to use these thinner butterflies, which my assistant Nikita makes and sells on her Etsy. I use them on everything, on cupcakes. I mean, just look how cute. And it's just some gold, rose gold and silver. Honestly, especially cupcakes, I think it just makes them go pop, like wow. You see? I'm going to add a couple sprinkles, and I think I might add a dash of edible gold. I don't know. This is why I say it's always slightly different every cake, because once I get into it, I get a bit carried away of what I want to go on there. No, I always say every cake is different. To get sprinkles out, especially ball sprinkles, using a teaspoon makes it that little bit easier to kind of pop them on where you want them to go without it being a bit too much, maybe. Like you're not just throwing them on there. Ooh, drop one. One thing to remember, most sprinkles that are a chrome effect, like gold, silver, they do have fish gelatin in. Fish is an allergen, so you do need to be ticking that, but also not suitable for vegetarians, vegans. So be wary of who your customer is and make sure you always ask, have they got any allergens, intolerances or dietary requirements, because this is, you know, makes a big difference, doesn't it? Should we add some gold or just a bit of glitter? I think just a bit of glitter actually. I'm going to do an aerial view of this to show you. Obviously, normally I would be quicker at decorating this because I won't be talking myself through every step. But when people ask me, how long does it actually take you to decorate a cake? So far, I've spent 18 minutes, which I guess is pretty good, but it just comes with practice. Right, can you see that? All those details. Honestly, these kind of cakes I do absolutely love, just for the fact, if I put it at different angles, you can see the different tones. I just love anything pretty. I hope you found this really useful. Oh, let's put you back there a bit. I hope you found this really useful today. I have just released my baking bible, which has got all my hints and tips. Also how to start business, finding customers. That's available on my website. All the links to products I use today are in my bio and will be in the description below. If you want to see any more content like this or anything else, I'm always happy to go off recommendations. So drop me a comment. What do you want to see me do next? And I'll give it a film next week. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my channel, give me a like, follow on Insta, and see you next week.